surplus. It actually prevents capacity or prevents them from writing more business. Okay, so that's, again, difference between SAP and GAAP. Pension accounting, we talked about it already. Vested or non-vested pension accounts. If they're vested, they are allowed to be deducted as an expense. If they're not vested, they cannot under SAP. You need to have to know this. If you want to know what my earned income is, you have to take the written premium for the period, add any unearned premium reserve at the beginning of the year, and subtract unearned premium reserve at the end. If you take the time to look at those videos that we had Spencer post on our website, they do a wonderful illustration of this. So you might want to take just a few minutes and look at that. And the same thing with losses and loss expense reserves. Look at the total paid loss and loss expense reserves, subtract what the reserves were at the start of the year, and add what was at the end of the year, the reserves at the end of the year. Surplus note, that's a very unique kind of a debt instrument only issued by insurers, and basically it's a debt instrument against the surplus that they hold. Schedule D, of all those schedules that were on the slide 5 or 6 slides ago that are on an annual statement, you really have to know details about D. Schedule D is a series of schedules prepared to provide details on the assets and liabilities that are held in bonds, preferred, and common stocks. And Schedule F, that's an 8-part schedule that provides expanded information on reinsurance arrangements. It's got 3 parts. The first part provides detailed information on reinsurance assumed. The second part shows a portfolio of reinsurance arrangements. And the third part shows any ceded reinsurance. Schedule P. This lovely schedule has 7 parts, and it provides information that analyzes your loss reserve levels and loss development. And these are the 7 parts. So I do encourage you to just become familiar with this, make some acronym or some way to remember it. I think it will be helpful to you. So that was assignment 4, which talked about insurance company financial or SAP financial statements. Assignment 5, I forget what its title was, but anyway, we talked about capacity. Capacity is the ability of an insurance company to write money, and it's usually based on a comparison of written premium to policyholder surplus. That's that old 3 to 1 that they always talk about. For every $3 of premium, you've got to stick $1 away in policyholder surplus, and that represents capacity. And there's 2 reasons why the more a company or the faster a company grows, the more of a drain goes on policyholder surplus. And these 2 reasons are this. The more written premium I have, the more policyholder surplus I'm required to set aside as a cushion against adverse operating results, or in other words, losses. And remember that new business typically generates a higher loss ratio. So you would need that extra money in there to cover that. And in the short term, statutory accounting requires the immediate recognition of policy acquisition expense, but defers the recognition of the premium. In other words, you only can state the premium as it's to a firm's ability to raise cash to meet obligations. There's 3 things that the liquidity of an insurance company depends upon. That's how much cash goes in and out, the relationship between assets and liabilities, or the balance between the 2, and the type and amount of assets that are available. Are they short-term bonds? Are they stocks?